So I went all the way down to the trap in ATL. Oh yeah. So I let T.I., you know what I'm saying, to see how they do it. Cause I know how we do it in the hood and the NO. It's street, it's real street. I've been a street nigga my whole life. I was raised in them, yeah. Wild out, flighted for nights and days in them. Nigga, I played in them. I told the kids in them. In 7th grade, I started trying to get paid in them. If you ain't real, you ain't gonna be safe in them. Bitch niggas get jacked and they hoe get raped with them. I done saw niggas get stabbed and shot dead in them. No reppin', I bust my share heads in them. Leave caught niggas down bad and bust lead in them. The streets getting flaky cause not a feds in them. Putting pressure on busters, getting info from them. Niggas telling it all when it's coming and who from them. Damn, that's fucked up. The streets that change. These bitch niggas straight poison in the game. But Jizzle can't change the streets, that's me. I live and die by the street rules cause I'm a G. I'm a street nigga. A street nigga. That's what I've been and that's what I'm gon' be, nigga. I'm a street nigga. A straight street nigga. I was taught if I'm a play like a G, nigga. I'm a street nigga. A street nigga. That's what I've been and that's what I'm gon' be, nigga. I'm a street nigga. A straight street nigga. I was taught if I'm a play like a G, nigga.
A nigga thorough as they come. Was raised in the gutters in the slum. Known as the number runner son. And the dope man nephew who uncle on the run. The candid lady grandbaby hustle for the fun. The yay was sold daily from the dust to the chrome. Like easy in the 80s, nigga stayed in the sun. I swore I'd never run, so I stayed with a gun. I kept my little 380 with the blade to the sun. All I fit with God, play my card, how it come. I'ma stand like a man till it's all said and done. And that's even if they run niggas, cause I know I run with a clique of wild, misguided, underprivileged young niggas. Give a fuck who you is or where you from, nigga. You can get it, we taking over the city. I was raised in the belly of the beast, to say the least. My role model was doing time, so I learned from the streets.
I'm a street nigga. A street nigga. That's what I've been and that's what I'm gon' be, nigga. I'm a street nigga. A straight street nigga. I was taught if I'm a play like a G, nigga. I'm a street nigga. A street. Yeah, nigga, yeah. Shit real round here. Yeah, nigga, yeah. Shit real round here. If you want it, you can get it, my nigga. Shit real round here. If you want it, you can get it, my nigga. Shit. Look, if you ain't know, ask somebody, they'll tell you about me. Nothing fake, nothing flawed, nothing bitch about me. I'm a tree, I've been running these streets since a youngin', since 14. I've been bugging, slaying heat, ain't nothing. You won't be, say something. You can get it, I ain't tripping. One song, just know you better not let me catch you slipping, cuz whatever we need, I'ma smash you. Broad daylight around the club, I'ma get at you. If you let me tip down on the nigga, you chapter. I guarantee you that it's gonna be a closed casket. I'm about this. What's understood don't need to be explained. For the money or the fame, I was a gangster in the game. I ain't lying when I tell you about me and my background, about me and my lifestyle. I ain't never backed down. I ain't never froze up. I ain't never turned state. I ain't never missed when I emptied the clip out the K, nigga. However you want it, nigga, you could get it, cause shit real. It's get it how you live. However you want it, nigga, you could get it, cause shit real. It's get it how you live. However you want it, nigga, you could get it, cause shit real. It's get it how you live. However you want it, nigga, you could get it, cause shit real. It's get it how you live. It's never die, do what you did, nothing less. Fuck with the kid, get two to the head, two to the chest. Nigga, I'm the best when it come to the street shit. You got your hands full fucking with me with this beef shit. I be on some all night flight, no sleep shit. Me, my dog, and 2Ks, fuck that police shit. We coming with it, 100 rounds drumming with it. You running from it, we running with it. You bitch ass niggas ain't fucking with it. I'm out here, head first, ready to go head up. Walking with your head down, bound to get your head bust. Hit the feds, come, I'm off the scene, off the block. I know the bus move when it get hot. Shut down the shop, open up another on the other side of town. Got your yeah, and I got pounds. Jizzle was a hustler and a heat boss all in one. Don't get it twisted, I do this rap shit for fun, you heard? However you want it, nigga, you could get it, cause shit.
Welcome to the Revolutionary Agenda. I'm your host, Seduction Doll. Um, I suppose that I guess I read that Frontline Black News is coming on tonight to further notes. I don't know what that means, but um, I just felt like, well, okay, well, I got news to run. Um, I got news to go. I don't even know where to start. Normally I would say that no one knows that I'm more of a private individual, and I've been going through some private things out here. The house that I thought were private, apparently not. And a situation happened which nobody really asked me about what happened or how or what led up to that. Just immediate, like it's been silent, like nobody cares. It's not really a surprise to me. It's that it's like this. Um, girl, the girl had a moment of I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to say it. Basically, um, I just was tired and I didn't want to go on no more. So, I tried to end it all. Basically, love stuff. Um, Reasons behind it, not really all that important. However, I thought it was a private in-home matter. Apparently, it wasn't. You just decided to go make a whole fucking live and rant about it for 10 minutes and throw up a whole fucking commercial or a fucking notice about it, and it was really bad luck if you really look at it. My reasonings are different from what he says. Things like that. Anyway, nonetheless, he said he was done online, um, in person, all that, and it was very difficult for me to take because I had given so much to him and to everything that we do that a flash of panic kind of happened, and I didn't know where to go from there. And I know that I didn't want to do it by myself, and I know that I couldn't allow anybody else to be with me. I couldn't be with nobody else, and that I just was just loyal to him, and that's what happened. That's what led to that. I didn't really want to talk about it, so we're not gonna talk about it anymore. I'm just moving around as if in a few days he'll come to his senses, and we got lots of things to work on. So, I mean, it'd be a travesty for him to do this because of all the stuff we do well together and that we work well together. So it would be a travesty on that level. Especially, it's not just online. It's not just an online thing. It's an in-person thing. I can't move around the city without it. I can't be doing the good work and of service without him. You know what I mean? Like, can't really fight for the people without him. This is a two-party thing. So that happens when you decide to build as a team. I decided to build this team. So I don't want to talk about it no more. That's what happened. So until he says otherwise, um, I don't want to talk about what I did, because what I did is very serious. I've been asking for help for a long time, and there's nobody to help. I've been saying for a long time that these are certain things that were going on, and no one wanted to talk to him. He always acts like this. He just, it's always his world, nothing else. No one, he's always the one that's right, no one else is wrong. And I always have to apologize. It's just, it's whatever he says. And the reality of things is not really like that. I'm just going on as if tomorrow is a new day, and we'll be back to working on fucking policies and getting things together for his fucking his campaign. I'm just acting as if that's happening. When you're grown and you love somebody, you can't shake it. No matter what you say, the love is there and you can't shake it. You gotta let it go. You can't let it go. Not yet, anyway. Well, get forced after, I guess. Anywho, no, that's before. So I saw that Frontline Black News was gonna run, and I decided to throw a show together because I had one ready sitting in the queue, and unfortunately, I had been talking to him about several other things going on, and so I'm just gonna carry on. I sent him a link, so I sent everybody a link. So we're just gonna act as if Frontline Black News is still on. We're gonna do it over here right now. I sent him a link, and hopefully he'll get it. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move forward. So I was just checking that somebody pinged me. All right. One more real quick. One more second. Sorry. Um, All right, Billy. My fault. I had to send a couple of links out and do that. So anyway, I'm just gonna go on like business as usual. I don't want to talk about what I did and why I did it. I don't want to talk about anything that's gonna affect. I don't want to talk about none of that because I'm suffering at an emotional level. So I look at everything as all together. It's a big emotional pothole. So I'd rather not, and I would rather just focus on the work that we have to do. Some things are just not at the right time. We have a whole city that depends on us. And it will depend on us. So I'm just gonna act like it's just a low point in my experience right now. That I need to go get help first. And that's that. So move along. Today though, let's get into our show. I sent links to everybody just in case our show wasn't ready. I sent links to the fellas in case they wanted to pop on by and do the usual Saturday experience. All right, so finally, this little video is making its rounds. So I think I got my banner up. Make sure I got my banner up. Making its little rounds and whatnot. Fair use. All my stuff just keeps coming off. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my screen right for a second. Right. All right, I saved it. All right. Fair use rolling. Okay, good. Right. Got the disclaimer up. Okay. All right, let's get it going. So the little clip has been rolling around. I think I've seen it first. I think I've seen it on Twitter first. Made some comments. And I've seen it. First thing our brother she shared it. Then I seen it on Great Black Shark shared it. And he had a thread to go with it. I commented on it. And then I got into it with a troll. But this video is making its rounds, and I was surprised to see it. There was an outcome to it. I covered it a little bit on RVA a few RVAs ago. There we go. And I love me some Reese Waters, man. Shit. Where's your parents?
You got a light brain, bud. God, I love little fucking monkeys like that. It just shows how fucking violent they are at a young age. Your frontal lobe is 2 ounces lighter, bud.
Now here's a question. So you are making an argument that you are genetically superior. Why aren't you at work?
What?
Welcome to Races of the
video is disgusting to me. Like, I can't even get into how disgusting this video is. This video was so disgusting, disturbing to me, and only added to the fact that like you gotta constantly be around our children. Like they're always like grown ass men taunting children. Like,
week, where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union and also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Also, we just had our Racist of the Month compilation, which went up last weekend, so be on the lookout for that. Today's nominee, these cornballs in Nashville.
Everything you're about to see is real.
don't worry about the commercials and what happened next time. You know that you know, like as a victim of what do you call it, EBT fraud, I guess, whatever. If I started getting something for being disabled, and they took it. Somebody took it through one of those scanning devices, and so I'd been without money like the whole month. Like really can't go to work, can't do shit. It's caused a lot of strife and a lot of problems. Well, anyway, so you know, I finally get myself to a level where I can, you know, like some people take auto pay for granted. This motherfucker didn't, you know. So a lot of things were starting to come into play where I could start to take care of most things like the StreamYards and the YouTube the internet, for example. YouTube, in order to have no commercials, you gotta pay for that. You know, things like that. Finally had a capacity. And then when that happened, I filed paperwork to the things that you're supposed to do. Thankfully, my brother helped me. And yeah, it was pretty upsetting. Pretty maddening. So come this next month, I'll be able to do the things that I wanted to do initially. Like our platforms wouldn't, well, you know, I initially thought I was going to do it. It depends on what happens. But our platforms wouldn't be falling off. Really wouldn't be taking up as much water because I would be taking up most of the responsibility. That was planned for this month. It's planned for next month. But it just really it really depends. Might not. It might just be me and my platform stabilized, and that's not on me. You know what I mean? However, the goal was to do this and that with each other. I don't really know how to maneuver, so I kind of hoping that some guidance will come through the dream about how I'm supposed to maneuver, like without, you know, because all my plans are kind of incorporated with everything. So.
It would have been bad enough that these rejects are making Nashville their regular hang like they play for the Tennessee Titans. That's right. They keep coming back. Now, I was too busy, you know, with political racism to actually hit it here. Although come to think of it, I already did a video about these dudes.
Literally having a Nazi march. Literally having a Nazi march here in downtown Nashville. White supremacists talking about white supremacist neo-Nazism, talking about deporting folks and just racial hatred. This is what we're seeing here in Nashville.
Where's your faces? Where's your son faces? Cowards! Cowards! All of you! Cowards! Oh, I saw his face! Oh, I saw his face!
And you'll never guess what they showed up in again. The police reported that the group left the area after the confrontation, having arrived earlier in a U-Haul truck. They came in a U-Haul truck. So was they just in the back? Like, how does that? They came in a U-Haul. They all just came in a U. I'm so confused. I'm so confused by that. This tactic mirrored a similar incident 2 years ago when the Patriot Front attempted to disrupt an LGBT event in a U-Haul truck. Wow, I didn't know U-Haul. So they really are trying to adopt and claim U-Haul as their own. Like they are really trying to make U-Haul problematic. U-Haul sitting over there like, what y'all mad at me for? I got nothing to do with Blood Tribe. I do have one question though, U-Haul, because if they rented a car to come down there and have done it now multiple times, don't they have to reveal their identity?
Right. That was my question when I first said it. I was like, damn, you gonna make you bank. Like, you should charge for every motherfucking white boy that pops out that shit. For real. Like, every motherfucking white boy that pops out of that back of that truck, you should charge. Because you don't know where they came from, what part of the trip they jumped on. Don't they owe gas? Are any of these white boys paying for gas? Where are they sitting at? What are they holding on to while they're in there? They're just almost like stuffed in there like little statues. I got questions too. I got real life questions.
Don't you got a driver's license down there somewhere? And where were all the rest of the guys? Since they all came down in the back of the U-Haul, were the rest of the guys just standing in the back with them scars over their faces? You didn't know that something might be amiss? But not satisfied with annoying all of Nashville, and shout out to Music City for telling them how you feel, they decided to target a specific group. And who do you think these big bad white supremacists would choose to terrorize? Young black boys, of course, young black boys. Now, this incident was caught on camera in July and showed a group of young black adolescents who play music in the city being abused by a group of men belonging to something called the Goyim Defense League.
I've tried hard to ignore you. I didn't want to adore you. But no, I can't forget you. Why do I have to?
Where's your walk around this? Where's your parents?
Now I'm just gonna stop us right here. I know it's early in the video. I couldn't help but notice
Where's your walk around this? Where's your parents?
his issue was that they were, quote, just walking around as ends. Wow. I mean, generally they will couch their racism a little bit better than that, but apparently the problem is us walking around as ends. Well, we know we surely can't run around as ends because that would be suspicious, but we can't walk around as ends either. I also love the thing that he immediately followed that with where are your parents? That is a great question.
Where's your parents?
Where are your parents? Huh? Because I would love to know how they feel about having raised a grown man who gets in a U-Haul with a bunch of other grown men to go out of town and threaten adolescents. Like, I would love to know how they feel about their grand accomplishment. Just think about all the sacrifice, because I'm a parent. Just think about all the sacrifice that it takes to raise a young child up, and years of waking up early and going to bed late and taking them to soccer practice and helping them with their homework, only to find out one day he is in the back of a U-Haul with a white supremacist jacket on, surrounded by other failed members of society. Like that's grim.
Where's your parents?
I feel like that more heart than most.
I find it extremely ironic that the one kid who gets the most upset is laughed at, and then you see this shirt cross into frame called Whites Against Replacement, considering that you needed a whole gang of grown men in order to feel comfortable approaching youths in Nashville. I see why that replacement would be possible. I do. That's actually technically called an upgrade. That is when society has evolved beyond the need for you. It's exactly what you did with your Nokia.
Hey, are they allowed to let these little make threats? Is England making threats? Can you arrest them?
You know what's terrible about this whole thing is they were just gonna go and beat drums on the street. You know what I mean? Beat drums, sit there and entertain themselves on the street. You know, probably make a little change for a cold drink or something. You know, just little boys doing little boy things like drumming on the street. That's all they were doing. And these motherfuckers, the little guards, little police guards, decided they wanted to maneuver them around. So they maneuvered them around, you know, and in all actuality, they were being racist as it was. They didn't want them banging little bucket drums and entertaining themselves and entertaining the public for whatever reason, you know. So little boys, they ain't bothering nobody. They're just providing a little amusement for themselves. Maybe they get a little change. They get them something to drink. You know what I mean? Maybe an ice cream on the way home. And they were going to go on their way. But you got white supremacy all over Nashville, telling them they can't be over here. They can't bang the drums over there. And then you got a group of fucking grown-ass, ignorant-ass men telling them shit too. It's like, how can the little boys not be upset? How can they not be upset?
Please arrest him.
They have to.
Hey, stop making threats.
They have to accompany the through town. Everybody. No,
Usually years I get escorted because they're so violent. Yeah. You got a light brain, bud.
God, I love little fucking monkeys like that. It just shows how fucking violent they are at a young age.
Okay, so apparently they are the violent ones while minding their business, while you're out of town in a Whites Against Replacement t-shirt and a backpack standing in the median. Yeah, you didn't use your context clues on that one.
You got a light brain, bud.
God, I love little fucking monkeys like that. It just shows how fucking violent they are at a young age.
Your frontal lobe is 2 ounces lighter, bud.
Now here's a question. So you are making an argument that you are genetically superior. Why aren't you at work? I'm just curious. Why aren't you at work? They have found something constructive to do with their inferior frontal lobes. They have found something constructive for young kids to do. Why is there nobody looking for you with your superior intellect?
Do you need some money?
How is it that you have time to go out of town midweek with the whole softball team and accost strangers?
Turn this on. Turn it on.
Now, according to News 5 in Nashville, the kids had been on their way home from playing drums downtown when all of this occurred. Now, I actually did a Racist of the Week not too long ago about some young girls who spoke at a Denver City Council meeting who were abused as well.
If you need space, go back to Africa. Nobody wants you here.
Whoa.
All you do is burn down and ruin stuff. You little, you unmuted me again, you dumb boomer. Go ahead, protect the protect.
Producer, can we remove them?
I will make the same point here that I made there. You are giving us the evidence of the thing that you love to deny. You love to deny that this kind of racism exists, but yet you will stand there in 4K and racially abuse young adolescents for walking around wild ends. Thank you for coming.
How y'all not outraged? And there's only so many times we're gonna come up here
When this shit was in Denver, and I was thinking,
Antonio Wilson, who was just 10, was one of the 5 kids who was assaulted. He told the outlet.
Playing drums is a passion for these young drummers. For 3 years now, they have shared their love of music on Broadway. But Saturday, July 13th, they were met with hate.
They were just saying bad words to us, and the police didn't do nothing. They were just telling us to go home, and they didn't do nothing. They should have did something. They should have arrested them, because that's wrong, because we didn't do nothing to them. We was about to go home on our way home. We went around them. They called us bad words, and we didn't say nothing to them.
And that
what you gonna do
is an interesting observation, because the police seem extremely casual about the fact that you have a group of grown men threatening minors. Extremely casual about that. How is it that when police get all jacked up and
what's he gonna do? What you gonna do over here?
That is an.
They were met with hate.
What's he gonna
They
do?
were just saying bad words.
What's this dude gonna do? Isn't he in Congress? Isn't he a senator? Or isn't he he's a congressman or a House representative? Fucking Jones right here. I think it's Jones. Isn't he somebody? Right? Shouldn't he be doing something to make the laws different? Change our policy? Little boy got my little southern accent. I'm gonna get mad if it's worse. You know what I mean? Look at he's standing there like, go ahead, say your piece, son. But ain't you gonna do something? Ain't you gonna do something? It's on him too. That's his city too. They're right outside their steps.
Words to us, and the police didn't do nothing. They were just telling us to go home, and they didn't do nothing. They should have did something. They should have arrested them, because that's wrong, because we didn't do nothing to them. We was about to go home on our way home. We went around them. They called us bad words, and we didn't say nothing to them.
And that is an interesting observation, because the police seem extremely casual about the fact that you have a group of grown men threatening minors. Extremely casual about that. How is it that when police get all jacked up and they overreact to a threat, it's always against a Black person? It's never to protect a Black person. I would love to see a police officer go above it. Oh, did I do too much? Did I go too far? Was that unjustified? To actually protect a Black person. That might have been a good change of pace. Now, there is video all over, but this one was particularly infuriating.
No race talk. Shut up. You're quiet. Shut up and be quiet. Fuck you. You fucking round table. Fucking loser. Fucking loser. Hey, Matt, you. Hey. You said anything. Keep driving the wrong way.
You know Raising Cane's is furious. You know Raising Cane's is furious. Like, y'all got me all up in the frame. Y'all got me all up in the video like I'm Diddy back in the 90s, and I did absolutely nothing to associate myself with you. Not to mention, your stereotype is that they love to come in and eat chicken. Is that why you decide to stay here? So you decide to hurt my chicken business by chasing away my best customers?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
They really went back in front of another chicken place. I tell you this, y'all better stay away from Target. Now, I was curious what the local reaction was, and journalist and local legend Phil Williams gave me everything I wanted.
You've seen them all across the city. Now we're showing you the hypocrisy and the ignorance behind the neo-Nazis who've stirred up controversy this week here in Middle Tennessee.
And one of the things that I wanted to know is what a lot of you have been asking, why Nashville? But I also wanted to look hate in the eyes and show just how ignorant they really are. For days, out-of-state neo-Nazis have made a scene on the streets of Nashville with their symbols of hate and vile words. Here, berating a lesbian mom who had just left a downtown restaurant, reducing her young daughter to tears. Here, assaulting a bartender who had confronted the group. And here, bringing their venom to the West End Synagogue.
Chat, how much do you think the Jews are paying this guy? Let's throw out some numbers.
Thursday, they returned to the historic Metro Courthouse, repeatedly challenging officers just doing their jobs. There on what is now the Diane Nash Plaza, named after the civil rights legend who came here to confront a Nashville mayor and a community's racism, we decided to confront the hate that has once again reared its ugly head.
You ready to debunk the flyers? I told you I'd stop being a Nazi. What's your thoughts about you lying in the media?
Yeah, I'm curious. Why Nashville? Why did you guys choose Nashville?
The only place that respects freedom of speech.
Yeah, this state actually respects freedom of speech, but communist Jews like yourself don't.
John Minadeo, a Californian who moved to Florida, leads the Goyim Defense League, which goes around the country trying to create scenes that they hope will bring them attention and followers. In fact, this tactic, resorting to yelling as a diversion, would play out again and again as we attempted to confront the group with facts about the lies they tell their followers. So you have a problem with Jews in general, though?
Yes, I do.
So you think the COVID agenda is Jewish?
Let's go.
In fact, the men who led the nation's COVID response, Drs. Francis Collins and Anthony Fauci, are both Catholic. Dr. Fauci was Catholic. Dr. Fauci wasn't Jewish.
I didn't say he was.
You say the COVID agenda is Jewish. Dr.
Look at all
Fauci
the
was
names.
Catholic.
No. To go through the names.
Minadeo, it seems, doesn't like any facts that don't fit his narrative. For example, this claim that, quote, every single aspect of the Biden administration is Jewish. The vice president is Baptist.
Okay,
the secretary,
80% Jewish.
You said every aspect.
I said 80%.
Okay, well,
that's a 2% minority.
Well, the Secretary of Defense is Catholic.
2% minority.
Secretary of
2% minority.
Interior is Catholic. Secretary
2% minority. 80%. 2% minority.
Secretary of Commerce is Catholic. Secretary of Health is Catholic.
80%.
Secretary of Transportation is Episcopalian. Secretary of Energy is Catholic.
Next slide, let's go.
Secretary of Education is Catholic. Secretary of Veterans Affairs is Catholic. Over and over, it became clear that these are people who are blind to any facts that don't confirm their hate. How many of you guys have criminal records?
What's your criminal record? Catching kids?
Not surprisingly, there are quite a few arrests among these characters. Minadeo spent a month in jail last year after authorities in Florida got fed up with the group littering their neighborhoods with its hate messages. Others we discovered also have a variety of criminal charges on their records. Can I be honest with you guys?
You're a loser, scumbag.
When I look at you guys, I do not like Mr. Race.
Time is coming to its end.
In fact, what I saw was a group of wounded, angry men who've never accomplished much in their own lives, looking for someone else to blame. I really feel sorry for you guys.
I don't give a sorry for. You're gonna grave soon, you dumb sellout boomer.
You boomer.
Honestly, I think my overriding feeling was sadness. These are really pathetic human beings, and they just don't seem to recognize it. Frankly, I think that's how most of Nashville and Middle Tennessee views them as well.
Yeah, just so angry at the world.
And sad.
That was extremely well done. I want to congratulate Goyim Defense League. You are our racist of the week. And shout out to Phil Williams for being a very solid ally. By the way, while I was editing the Racist of the Week compilation for last month, I saw that there was one of those that I ended with a positive story, And you guys really reacted quite well to that. I had forgotten about it because it was a couple weeks old and the earth shifted with everything political. So I decided I'm going to end this one on a positive story here. Here is a piece of Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson's address at the National Urban League Convention.
Justin Pearson. That's right. My fault. I know there's one of the Justins. I just forgot his name right at the moment. Justin Pearson. Mm-hmm. Yep. Him. Yep. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
And shout out to my man Mark for sending it to me via email.
This here is just what America looked like. Black, beautiful, educated, and all the rest. So I'm going to go ahead on and be at home because we here. And every rally that we do, we start one particular way in District 86. I say, who fired up? And the crowd respond, we fired up. You ready? Who fired up? Who fired up? Who fired up? Yeah, we fired up. We fired up because we've got to be fired up for such a time as this. We've got to be fired up to fight for.
That dude, if he leaves his house seat, that dude will make a wonderful motherfucking wonderful motherfucking pastor. I can just see you like, who fired up to go to church? We fired up for church. Who fired up for Black Jesus? We fired up for Black Jesus. Can I get an amen? Amen. Can I get an amen? I said amen. Can I get a witness? You're a witness? I'm a witness. Yeah. Testify. Tell us about Black Jesus. I'm gonna tell you all about Black Jesus. Tell us about Black Jesus, Pastor. It's just in his cards. You know what I mean? Can I get you to lift your hands and praise for the almighty Black Jesus? You think? Yes. Yes. Can you say, we rebuke the devil? I rebuke you, Satan. Rebuke you, devil. Yeah, can we get an amen? Can we get an amen? Can you say all the world's treachery is in the hands of the white man? Ah! He has a future in it. You can just see how he's doing it. Just say.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and DEI candidates. We've got to be fired up because of Project 2025, white supremacy and racism continuing to be on the prowl. We've got to be fired up against domestic terrorism and capitalistic exploitation. Y'all, we've got to be fired up. It's time to be fired up when they're trying to silence our voices, refusing to acknowledge the beauty of our brilliance. You even got racist Ron and governors talking about Black history has no value.
You see, I'm already fired up. Like, tell us about it. Tell us about it. He has it in his cards. It's fucking in his cards. He's good at it.
We've got to be fired up. Fired up because we need to make real the words written into the founding documents of this nation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've got to be fired up.
Good Lord,
and this is our moment. This is our time. This is our opportunity to be fired up for the movement for justice rooted in love.
Sincere thanks to everybody who's
cut like a custom suit. That shit is tailored for him. See how it was cut to fit him? Thank you.
Reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions.
Let's get up here. Get to the top.
You want to know how to take a better shower? Stop using soap. So if you want to use a deodorant for your underarms and use a shower for everywhere else, we created the
soap. Thank you.
Kamala isn't a foundational Black American. I'm always pointing out to.
All right, first of all, shout out to the New Black Media. this is the new black media's hard work. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed for the term foundational Black American. Shout out to all the new black media signal boosters for making it a reality. Shout out. We are at war, and this is the result. And culture. Oh God, race is like a motherfucker. She gonna speak on Kamala. She's gonna speak on her a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to the new black media getting in their ass and straightening this shit out. And now, when foundational Black Americans come out, the words come out of white people's mouths. You know we're making waves. You know we're in that ass. You know there's something to say, and there's nothing wrong with giving a clap to the new black media who don't stop, won't stop, can't stop, don't stop. You know what I mean? So let's play it. Here's another Reese Waters thing.
To Black people. Hey, have you noticed Indians are getting all the good diversity jobs?
Welcome to Racist of the Week. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Today's nominee, Ann Coulter. You know, is Ann Coulter like the Kevin Durant or Racist of the Week? Like, did she just basking in gold medals? No. That's Nikki Haley. That's Nikki Haley. She got like 4 of them things. But Trump is coming for Nikki Haley. He would be like the Anthony Edwards of Racist of the Week. But don't sleep on Ann Coulter's racism. Here I was minding my own black business, readjusting from the Olympics. When I get hit with this. Why C-SPAN? Why? Isn't this the People's Network? I need to know who asked for Ann Coulter. You know, other than Jimmy Walker.
Oh my God.
Now, I understand she can't go on Fox.
Those are two ugly motherfucking people. Did you see that? Shit of nightmares.
When I get hit with this. Why C-SPAN? Why? Isn't this the People's Network? I need to know who asked for Ann Coulter. You know, other than Jimmy Walker.
Oh my God. Those two are the most ugliest fucking group of people. Look at this shit. Like, this is the shit the nightmares are made of.
Now, I understand she can't go on Fox News because of what she said about Trump.
Is that stupid?
Respectfully, you sound bitter now. And the reason why.
A, don't lie to us when you're campaigning and getting our votes. B, you sound like a battered woman making excuses. Well, maybe he won't hit me next time. It's been 4 years. He's been beating the crap out of you. He had 4 years, Patrick. 4 years, yeah. 2 with a Republican Congress. Oh, but I know he could have not hit me, but maybe he was thinking he was waiting for our golden anniversary to stop hitting me. He was just waiting for that perfect time. No, he had 4 years. He didn't build it.
And she can't go on CNN or MSNBC because what she said about, well, literally everybody else.
And I would also say one other thing, these child actors weeping and crying on all the other networks 24/7 right now. Do not fall for it, Mr. President. I get very nervous about the president getting his news from TV because
Okay.
I also have an Adios America. A New
I don't know if
Yorker.
I well I don't
A New Yorker
I don't know
article.
if
New
that's
Yorker is not a conservative
Okay.
publication. They describe.
So I told you
how
we wouldn't
these
get a word in.
kids,
I told you.
These kids are being
I'm so
coached.
sorry, we have to go.
They're given scripts to read
I
by
know.
liberals, according to the New Yorker. Don't
Well-
fall for the actor children.
But what made you think this was going to go well?
Well, I write about this a little bit in my book, Mugged, about racial demagoguery, and also in Adios America about immigration. And that is the important point he should have made is that the entire purpose of affirmative action, set-asides, civil rights laws that limit constitutional rights to freedom of contract, freedom of association, all of that was to make up for the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. So unless these benefits are going to, roughly defined, foundational Black Americans, the descendants of American slaves, you've taken away the whole purpose of this.
Okay, I'm gonna stop us right there. What does this have to do with Kamala Harris? Huh? What does this have to do? Are you insinuating that her nomination for president?
Shocked that she said it just like that. So shocked that she said it just like that. See my brother there.
Is an affirmative action DEI program? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying she don't qualify for the DEI program, the presidential DEI program? She don't qualify because she's Indian? Is that where I'm going? Because first your argument is that the whole thing is some sort of DEI.
And I heard you quit.
Things change. This is not a typical murder case.
This is delightful. It didn't need to end this way.
Precisely.
DEI program, and then you want to disqualify her for the DEI program. So if I want to go along with your whole affirmative action presidency, how often does that come into play? Because we got the presidency in 2008 and 2012. So like every 16 years it come around. I'm just trying to understand the rules. I want to know how I get in. You know what I mean? Where do I sign up for the president DEI program? I am a foundational Black, so by all means.
And that is exactly what's happened once we got this huge load of immigrants. Now, a Thai who arrived on Wednesday will get an advantage applying to college, applying to corporations over a heterosexual white male in particular. That's the biggest hate group.
Oh, okay. So now it's a problem that the immigrants who come in can take advantage of DEI and affirmative action, but it wasn't a problem when white women were able to take advantage of affirmative action. That's interesting. That is interesting. That's a take. That is a take.
But any white American and all of the civil rights laws have been, and affirmative action and so on, have been twisted into just anti-white hatred and open, egregious discrimination. So to make the point that Kamala isn't a foundational Black American, I'm always pointing out to Black people, hey, have you noticed Indians are getting all the good diversity jobs?
No, but I noticed y'all were. That I did notice. Mm-hmm.
What did we do to Indians? We didn't enslave them. I mean, most of these immigrants coming in, 90% of legal immigrants are from the third world. And mostly we've just run around saving them from earthquakes and tornadoes and coups and starvation. They owe us, we don't owe them. But to switch from the concept of integration and civil rights for Black Americans to this BS-y diversity, it's nothing but discrimination against white people.
Now, when exactly did it become discrimination against white people? Was it always, or was it when you stopped being able to take advantage of it because you saw Indian people filling the slots that you were trying to steal from Black people? Is that when it became discrimination? Because you ceded that this whole thing was to make up for the legacy of slavery. So obviously the program in and of itself cannot be discrimination if it's to make up for that legacy. But you mad they stole your spot. Don't try. Get us on your side, Ann Coulter, because it wasn't a problem until they stole your spot. Ain't none of us rallying for you other than Jimmy Walker.
And that point should be made not just to, as I think Trump is always thinking, oh, he's going to win the black vote. He's not going to win the black vote. You ought to do things because they're the right thing to do, not because this is an appeal to black people, like releasing criminals. He thinks he's going to get the black vote by being soft on crime. Anyway, not only to point out to Black Americans that their history is being stolen by immigrants.
Our history is being stolen by immigrants. If by immigrants you mean Ron DeSantis, then I would agree. And I see you too, Mississippi. Don't try and hide Alabama. Oh, our history is being stolen, all right, but it ain't by Indians. And I do have to ask, what is your fascination with Indians, by the way?
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I too am a fan of yours. So I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American Black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
What did Indians ever do to you? Is this about Dinesh D'Souza? That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Now, as far as this fascination with Kamala Harris and her ethnicity, I'm noticing a bit of a trend, and I'm not the only one. I mean, if she's not black enough for you, then you must have a real foundational black that you would like to nominate instead, right? By the way, you should try Fox News again because you would be right at home on this issue.
I got white dudes for Harris right here, and I'm not going to put it on for one reason. I don't want to mess up my hair, but two, I'm not for Harris, so I'm going to give it to you. A white dude for Harris. You are white, right? You're white. Are you half?
I'll give it to my father-in-law.
Okay. You wear that. You wear that, Harold. I give this as a gift.
Thank you.
And you put it on your beautiful head.
I appreciate that. Red, white,
You
and
won't
blue.
wear it, so you're not a Harris supporter.
I am.
You're not going to mess up your hair. Look at it.
I'm a huge.
Come on,
I'm a
Harold.
big
Put the
Harris
hat
supporter.
on.
Who would have thought that biracial people would be the only thing harder for MAGA to understand than election results?
Who are you going to vote for in this election?
Well, Donald Trump, because if he loses, he will be running again in 4 years. And then he will have lost 4 successive elections for us.
That is the first honest thing you said.
And you know, truthfully, I really like his choice of J.D. Vance, which I had recommended back in May.
Oh, you mean this J.D. Vance?
How to get Mounjaro without going to the doctor's office. Thanks to this program, over 1.5 million users are accessing Mounjaro.
You mean this J.D. Vance?
She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
With respect, you
Please.
changed your position on an important thing, which is Donald Trump.
You mean this J.D. Vance?
JD Vance, you're the Vancing queen. Photos of JD Vance doing drag have come to light, and I'm not going to sit here and make fun of him for it. Why? Because look at that face. That's the face of someone experiencing pure joy. And who am I to take away someone else's joy? This drag queen right here, she is geared up to go to the Pink Pony Club. And then hitting this sexy pose right here, Mama was feeling herself. JD dancing queen, I'm not about to take this away from you. Mama, I can tell by this photo, you thought you were serving cunt. You weren't. You were not, but you thought you were, and that's what matters. I know you want to outlaw and make drag as an art form illegal, and I just want to let you know, don't rob yourself of that joy. You don't need a couch to feel this happy again.
Oh, we love him.
Can't trust Trump as far as I can throw him, but I do trust JD Vance to care about the left behind people.
Well, just to give people an update, in 2018, you wrote a book called In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. What happened?
No, that was 2016. That was the campaign.
Sorry about that. What happened?
Yeah. Well, he didn't keep any of his promises. And by the way, it's a great book. I stand by the book. I wish Republican politicians would read it. I gave a copy to some of my favorite Republicans, and inscribed it, but you have to actually do it. I do think the 2016, 15, 16 Trump campaign, it was one of the greatest campaigns in world history, and in part because it really changed the Republican Party to a party I preferred.
I bet you did.
And that is, instead of just lots of permanent, useless foreign wars and tax cuts, it was about, well, three things: immigration, trade, no more pointless foreign wars. And I've been waiting to vote for that basket of issues, it feels like my entire life. Also, just a lot of the things, not talking about your family. Please drop the family biographies. Please stop invoking Ronald Reagan. He was president, a million years ago. The world looked different then. So all of these, and I'm optimistic, that thing that they all got, I guess, from Reagan. And I pointed out that, no, when Reagan ran in 1980, he was very far from optimistic. He was viciously attacking Jimmy Carter. No one wants to know about your family. Stop with that crap.
Wait, your boy JD Vance can't stop talking about families.
Now, my mamaw died shortly before I left for Iraq in 2005. But it's going to be something I continue to talk about, is that the left has increasingly become explicitly anti-child and anti-family.
Is doing a project talking to voters all over swing states. He talked to Republican voters in the critical swing state, must win, I would say, swing state of Pennsylvania.
Of course.
One of them, Carol Carty, said she was almost a childless dog lady because she didn't happen to meet the right person until she was 40 years old. Another, Joan London, was offended that you don't think she has a stake in the future of the country because she doesn't have children. What do you say to key voters like that? Republicans, swing voters.
Sure.
Who are put off by your views?
Well, what I would say, Dana, is if you look at what I said in context, the Harris campaign has frankly lied about what I actually said. I'm pro-family. I want us to have more families. And obviously, sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes for medical reasons, sometimes because you don't meet the right person. But the point is that our country has become anti-family in its public policy.
Oh, no, it's not about your family. We don't care about your family. It's about other people's families. We want to dictate what you can do. I'm just going to do whatever. You would, once again, be right at home on Fox News on this issue.
And the up from the bootstrap stories, the John Kasich with the postman father and Rubio with the bartender. Can you please just tell us what you're going to do for the country? And so I loved, Trump coming out and saying, yeah, I'm rich and I'm going to fix the country. But the main reason, and if you read the book, by the way, I make it very clear that personally, Trump is an awful person. We are making an exception this one time because we need a wall.
Like a
awful, you say? Like the kind of person that would question his opponent's ethnicity?
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
No, that's not it, because you did that too.
Kamala isn't a foundational Black American. I'm always pointing out to Black people, hey, have you noticed Indians are getting all the good diversity jobs? Yeah, I think you're giving him more. I don't even think it's knowing how to be. I think he's a narcissistic. I didn't read. The one thing I didn't know when I wrote In Trump We Trust is how profoundly stupid he is.
Oh, you mean like the kind of stupid who talks about crowd sizes despite losing the popular vote?
I feel confused by it.
Twice? How about that crowd size, Trump?
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching
so,
YouTube
like,
videos, wondering why you
there
can't
is
find the
not,
motivation
no.
to do the things you need.
Did not help me at all.
Or the kind of stupid who would claim AI when he himself regularly posts AI. And also, there is video. The kind of stupid who gets caught in 4K at the golf course talking down on a woman who's kicking his.
How did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, fantastic.
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the rest. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him, they can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just keep knocking him out, right? That's it.
Hot mic moments for real.
So you're trusting the awful person who's profoundly stupid to enact the policies that you want. Sounds about white. Must be nice. Well,
yeah.
At least he's not Indian.
Hell yeah, I love America, and I hate Bud Light because it's full of queers. Yeah, freedom! That was all.
So what does that mean? What you just said?
What does freedom mean?
No, you said I hate Bud Light. Why do you hate Bud Light?
Well, because they cater all the wokeness and the not the un-American spirit.
What was un-American that they did?
Congratulations, Ann Coulter. You are our racist of the week.
Dude, that stuff had nothing but hot mic moments.
And don't worry, we'll be back here again.
Nothing
Sincere
but.
thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and.
You should switch to 1-800-CONTACTS because
it's super easy.
so cheap.
I saved shipping costs. I saved doctor office visit fees.
It was cheaper on 1-800-CONTACTS than actually going to the eye doctor.
1-800-CONTACTS always has my exact same brand in stock.
And then they deliver it right to your door.
Why would you not have your contacts delivered?
It's the future. It's amazing.
1-800-CONTACTS gives us really fast shipping, and I don't think it ever takes 5 days.
Not even.
It's shipped to you super quick and easy.
It's like a box with a cape. And it's free.
I save at least over $200 per visit through 1-800-CONTACTS.
My whole family, it's easily in the hundreds.
Gas being what it is now, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to imagine how much we're saving. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Ugh, I should have done it sooner.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Tuition-free online learning from Destinations Career Academy of Colorado lets you take the school day anywhere you want. Whether you're looking for more flexibility in your schedule or personalized support from licensed teachers, we can meet your child's unique learning needs and help them unlock their full potential. Enroll now and learn what sets Destinations Career Academy of Colorado apart.
Trump got booed at one of his latest rallies over his comments about soldiers and teachers. Watch.
I don't think so. But they've never held a private sector job in their entire professional careers.
He's insulting teachers and soldiers. Oh my gosh. Well, this isn't the first time he's insulted soldiers. Watch.
In a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to the cemetery? It's filled with losers." In a separate conversation on the same trip, Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who were lost at Bellew Woods as suckers for getting killed.
John McCain, who has been, in my opinion, not so hot. And I supported him. I supported him for president. I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured.
I'm backing him going off.
I like people that weren't captured.
This guy doesn't respect anybody. Who attacks teachers and soldiers? A megalomaniac, a sociopath, a nut job. By the way, this is how he plans to run education in America if he wins.
I will shut down the Federal Department of Education and we will move everything back to the states. We'll keep approximately 3 people in Washington just to make sure that you're teaching English, okay, as opposed to another language. We'll end the leftist takeover of school discipline and juvenile justice. Many of these carjackers and criminals are 13, 14, and 15 years old. I will order the Education and Justice Departments to overhaul federal standards on disciplining minors. So when troubled youth are out in control, they're out on the streets and they're going wild, we will stop it. The consequences are swift, certain, and strong, and they will know that.
Can you imagine the Department of Justice evaluating the kind of punishment your children should receive at school? And don't even get me started on his plans for the military. Listen to this.
Let me use these guys to guide our military a little bit. When you can win so many races, that's okay. You guide. Same thing with coaches. You take some of the greatest football coaches, you put them at a table. What do you like, coach? Because in its own way, it's not so much really different.
Yeah, he's saying he wants football coaches to be the generals for the military because they're good at running football games. So he goes, "Coach, what do you think we should do?" He's going to get so if he wins in the next presidency, he's going to have coaches as his cabinet. Maybe because of Tommy Tuberville, that guy who's a senator now. He thinks, oh, coaches are leaders. Let's get coaches into politics and government, and we will listen to their advice on what we should do in foreign policy.
Right.
Okay. The guy is clearly out of his mind. Let's go with the military first. He does not respect the military. He famously avoided the draft by having bone spurs, quote, bone spurs on his feet that kept him out of the Vietnam War. And then on Howard Stern, he said that his personal Vietnam War was avoiding STDs in all of his single days and bachelor days and even married days in New York. So he sees the military and soldiers as suckers and losers. He said that. He said right there about John McCain, who was a war hero. He goes, "I like my heroes that don't get captured." John McCain goes to Vietnam, gets captured, comes out, serves his country, and this guy has the gall to insult John McCain. I mean, it's one thing if he said, "Listen, I don't agree with John McCain. I didn't like his politics. I didn't like the way he did." Fine, go after him on the issues, on his politics. But
military stuff, but only from my own personal experience. However, both my fathers served in the military. And no matter what I believe in, I know that you don't insult a fucking veteran. I know that you don't disrespect a veteran. The common practice is to thank them for their service. And shit. They should have better health care. They should have better VA service. A lot of things that the veterans need. And that it's shit that they fight for the United States and they come back and they get treated like, less than citizens. They're out in the street, they're homeless, it's fucking shit. Even I know better than disrespect. And that could be anything, Even I know that you don't do that kind of shit to the veterans. And I know that's fucked up.
But to throw in the military service, the guy does not care. He's oblivious to the fact that you should respect somebody who has sacrificed their life for this country. He famously insulted the parents of that soldier, what was it, the Purple Heart soldier during the 2016 election. He famously was in France and said he didn't want to go to the gravesite of those soldiers because it was raining. It was going to mess up his hair. He famously told John Kelly or he told one of his other generals when he met someone who had been injured in war, why did he bring these people here? He basically is a bad person who does not respect the service of the military. And let's face it, we have a lot of veterans that come back from war and need a lot of government assistance. They end up in bad situations, and those are not the billionaires that are rubbing shoulders with Donald Trump. Those are the people.
Aren't the motherfuckers that stuff for him, some of the nationalists, some of his major donors, aren't some of them veterans? The people that helped write his little book that he's talking about, that they keep trying to push under the table. The Project 2025, some of them were veterans. I mean, like, some of the people that stormed the Capitol were some of them veterans. I mean, like, it's the fact that he thinks about the United States military as whatever, and as president, don't he have a job to try to correct whoever is in charge of the I forgot what the guy's name, who's in charge of the military, and put some policies in for the military to better themselves versus, if you think there's something wrong, shouldn't you better it? Or, issue policy? I don't understand.
People that you might see having trouble in the streets of our country, and we should be helping them. And we should be setting up programs to help them. And yet Donald Trump probably looks down on them and thinks of them as losers. And that's just what he thinks of the military. So let's just start with that. So all these people that are like, rah, rah, America, USA, USA, the guy that you are supporting is someone who has zero respect for the military. At least the two vice presidential candidates, Vance and Walz, served in the military. Now, they were going after Walz because they were making up a lie saying that Walz left the military after his 24 years of service. Once his troop had been sent to Iraq. The truth is, he actually retired before they were sent to go into battle, and he retired to go do service as a politician for this country. And so he's somebody, again, who's sacrificed. Even J.D. Vance, I'm going to go out and say, hey, he at least served for this country, and Trump did not. And not only did he not serve for this country, he's constantly insulting the military and members of the military and veterans. Now, that's that. Teachers, forget it. That's a whole other thing. The far right has gone after teachers, saying that they are grooming children, that they're brainwashing children. And the reason all of this happened is because they want to privatize education. You saw earlier he wants to get rid of the Department of Education because this is being led by a far right movement to bring more religion into schools, more Christianity into schools, and more indoctrination. I come from a country, Iran, that's where I was born, where the children are taught to memorize the Quran. They're indoctrinated in a lot of the Islamic ways. And when you mix religion and politics, you end up in a bad situation. But that's what the far right wants to do. That's what the religious right wants to do. And Donald Trump is bending over backwards to please them. And then he comes out and in public, he says, oh, no, I don't want to be associated with Project 2025. Well, a lot of the people that are in his team are members who helped write Project 2025.
Yep.
His own VP pick wrote the foreword, I believe, to Project 2025. And Project 2025 is what lays out a lot of this stuff. These are very conservative people that want to get rid of the Department of Education. They want to privatize education. They want to minimize government. They want fewer regulations. They want to go after climate change. They want to say climate change isn't real. They just want to basically enrich themselves more and more. And you got to open up your eyes. These people don't care about you. These people that go to their rallies, these people that go to Trump's rallies who are donating their hard-earned.
Here's a reality. I was going to show it. However, hey, thanks for coming in. Thank you, cuz. Go ahead and watch. Go ahead and hang out and watch a movie or whatever. I'm just going over this this little clip and eating off camera. So go ahead. Thank you for stopping by. I was going to talk about Project 2025, but I thought we were over it. So, according to the Frontline Black News, so I didn't bring it up. I thought we were done talking about it. I think we are, but I think we are. I think we're not focused on it over here, but however, maybe I should run a little 3-hour show about what I've been watching this documentary. So I'll think about that a little bit. But I thought that over here at the Frontline Black News, that we weren't really talking about that anymore. I thought we came to a consensus. I'm not really sure. I have to check back in and find out on the next episode of Frontline Black News.
Money to Trump to buy some mug with Trump's ugly face on it. I feel bad for these people. Because I'm going, you guys are suckers. This guy says, I'm a billionaire. I don't need your money. I don't need to run. I'm running for you. Biggest BS in the world. He's running so that he can avoid having to go to jail for all the crimes that he committed when he was president last time and when he left afterwards. And if he really is a billionaire, doesn't need your money, then why does he keep getting donations from you? Didn't Elon Musk just say he wants to give him $45 million a month? And Elon said, that's not what I said. All right, 10 million, whatever. Aren't these billionaires giving Trump enough money? Why do his constituents need to donate to him? These poor people who basically who are earning minimum wage, go to his rallies, give him their money, and he doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect you because you are someone who's part of the working class. You are someone who might have been a veteran. You're someone who might be a teacher. You're someone who might work in a factory. He does not respect you. He famously was against.
It is difficult to ask for money. It really is. It's difficult to ask for money. Running justice campaign is pretty hard to ask, especially when the campaign is constantly evolving. Constantly. It's just a little hard sometimes. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how anybody gets it done. But yeah, no, he's right.
The union work.
A lot of money. I'm like, well, where does it go after that? So that's my question. Let's move forward.
Black conservatives are everywhere. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. Pollsters can't get enough of them.
The historic levels of support the Republicans are getting from black folk under Trump.
Donald Trump is cozying up to them. Come here, let me give you a And the RNC was full of them.
President Trump, we have the greatest economy in our lifetime. America is not a racist country.
Can you imagine President Donald Trump coming to a city and calling a pastor like me?
You've probably heard a lot of people talking about black Republicans, but I spent all of the RNC talking to black Republicans.
So it is with
I
being
like
a
how
black
you're
conservative.
very honest.
I equate it to being gay back in the 50s
are 60s. You didn't come out the closet then.
And so you look at the people who really saying that about Trump. It's not no uppity Negroes. It's Negroes out the real hood.
And that's one reason why I'm pro-Trump and I'm a conservative, is because I truly believe in the individualistic approach to the problems that we see within the Black community or in America as a whole.
Black Republicans specifically are some of the most disliked and unpopular political figures within the Black community for a reason. Of the 4 Black Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives, none, 0 represent majority Black districts.
I am royally pissed.
In fact, they all represent majority white districts, something they seem to be very proud of.
South Carolina is majority white, correct? Yeah, it's still. My district is majority white district. Your Utah is majority white district, correct? Michigan, Florida, is your district majority white district? Well, how do we get here?
Like, a lot of white people had to vote for it.
There is an obvious disconnect, and that's what I want to explore today. I wanted to know what draws a Black person to identify with this Republican Party.
Trump has been for Black people, regardless of what the media say, for a long time.
The Bible say we perish through a lack of knowledge, right? So until you teach the people, that's the only way they're gonna learn. So it's our job, me especially as a Black conservative, to get out there, get on the ground, and teach these people all about the Black conservative movement. And when you look at the movement now, especially right now, we speaking, baby.
I learned a lot about Black Republicans in these conversations. Their motivations, their stories, their goals. These are real people with genuinely held beliefs. Beliefs that
that's the only way they're gonna learn.
Larry Wilcox Sr., advisor to Byron Daniels. This dude is the advisor to Byron Donalds. He's not no just no regular individual. Oh, Larry Wilcoxon Senior is advisor to Byron Donalds. So he's not just no regular individual. He really outside right now having all discussion. I give props to this dude. Fighting individual.
It's our job, me especially as a Black conservative, to get out there, get on the ground, and teach these people all about the Black conservative movement. And when you look at the movement now, especially right now, we speaking, baby.
I learned a lot about Black Republicans in these conversations. Their motivations, their stories, their goals. These are real people with genuinely held beliefs. Beliefs that I largely disagree with, and I told them as much.
It wasn't policy. It was white people.
Well, it wasn't white people. It was
no. Let's be very clear. It was white people. No.
I tried to have respectful dialogue with them. So in this video, I want to share these people with you, but I'll also share some of my reflections on the experience of listening to, fact-checking, and disagreeing with Black Republicans. I learned a lot about Black Republicans, and I think you will too. So with that, let's dig in.
Let's dig in.
In talking to Black Republicans, I found that their most consistent ideological North Star was an emphasis on personal responsibility. For those I spoke to, there was a real value for rigid individualism as opposed to collective progress and identity. Take Topher, for example. He's a Christian rapper, has millions of followers online, and believes, according to him, in an individualistic approach to progress for Black people.
And that's one reason why I'm pro-Trump and I'm a conservative, is because I truly believe in the individualistic approach to the problems that we see within the Black community or in America as a whole. And you can think about it, Black Wall Street, Harlem Renaissance, all that time, we was doing great. But when the policies came in and started destroying the Black community slowly and slowly, matter of fact, it was supposed to get rid of poverty or at least lessen it, but we have more poverty now than we had back then.
I think you'll notice a theme of dissonance present in these interviews. On the one hand, for example, Topher endorses an individualistic approach to solving the problems we face as a community. But on the other hand, he points to Black Wall Street or the Harlem Renaissance, communities that I would consider on the Mount Rushmore of Black collective power. And he points to them as times we should look back on with admiration. The question is, which one is it? Is it rigid individualism where we get it out of the mud on our own? Or is it about creating communities where we work together to build our collective resources? What's also interesting is that somehow for him, these communities no longer exist because of liberal or progressive policy decisions.
But when the policies came in and started destroying the Black community slowly and slowly, matter of fact, it it was supposed to get rid of poverty or at least lessen it, but we have more poverty now than we had back then.
I think it's worth pointing out that this more poverty now than back then line is verifiably false. It falls in line with a theme that people like Byron Donalds have advanced continuously throughout this election cycle. The idea that we were better off in any way during the Jim Crow era.
During Jim Crow, the black family was together.
Yeah, that's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just
Byron
conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively.
It's worth noting that the black poverty rate has been falling ever since black people started receiving civil rights protections. It's almost as if these progressive policies worked.
Now, you mentioned Black Wall Street, brother, and I want to be very real with you.
Yeah.
Black Wall Street was Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood District, where black people built their own community, had their own self-sustained community, beautiful economy, making it for themselves, and white people destroyed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't policy. It was white people.
Well, it wasn't white people. It was
no. Let's be very clear. It was white people. No.
It was those white people.
It was white people in that community. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And and let me just say this: Elaine, Arkansas, Rosewood in Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Sweet Auburn District, North Nashville, and Nashville in Nashville, Tennessee. Each one of these communities were booming black economies where white people, not in the same place, but it was the same group of people every time, destroyed those communities. So you can't say it's policy when when black people do what they need to do and build for themselves, and white people destroy it. Yeah. So why is it that you would frame it as a policy thing?
I didn't frame it as a policy thing.
We can rewind it.
You
but
said
you
it was. You said it was white people.
You mentioned.
I said it wasn't white people. It was those white people. And the reason why I'm saying that is because now we're trying to categorize all white people as evil.
No.
And what I'm trying to say is back then, because a lot of people don't know this, I'm gonna put this on record. Black Wall Street rebuilt themselves after that. 4 years after that, Black Wall Street rebuilt everything they had, and they prospered for the next 40 years until policy came in and destroyed it because they decided to build a freeway over their town, and that destroyed. So what I'm saying is, if we look at policy and the cultural essence of most things, right? It's not just policy, it's culture.
I was trying to draw a distinction between the nature of progressive policy, like the Civil Rights Act, or Supreme Court decisions to overturn segregation, and white supremacist policy, like destroying black communities. But the subject kept changing. Lucky for you, I actually made a video about Tulsa, Oklahoma's Greenwood District. It was definitely white racism that destroyed Black Wall Street and other black communities through explicitly racist acts of state-sanctioned violence. This is why an accurate, full telling of history is so important. Black oppression and black progress have always had a collective quality to them. Black people have been, throughout American history, targeted as a group, from slavery to black codes to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to anti-inclusion efforts today. But we've also made progress by harnessing the power of collective action during Reconstruction and the Civil Rights Movement, and even today during the black-owned business boom.
From LBJ, that's why he said we have these Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. But all those policies have not done what they promised. Would you agree?
I would not agree.
So you think we're better off as black people now than we were before LBJ passed those policies?
Yes, brother. We can vote without the threat of violence. Are you talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Is that what you're describing as a negative thing?
I'm not saying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was. I'm talking about.
That's LBJ. I just want to be clear. That's LBJ, who you said, were we better off before LBJ? LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I'm talking
about the war on poverty.
I just want to answer that one. I want to answer that specific one first. Was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bad?
I agree with the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I'm also put like this. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
I don't know what that means. Explain more.
What it means is I would rather, given the fact that even back then we still had our families together, communities were stronger back then, I'd rather deal with the dangerous freedom of not knowing and controlling people with policies as much as possible versus the peaceful slavery of being married and tied to the government.
Given Trump's well-documented history of saying and doing racist things, I wanted to know how these black people could be drawn into Trump's political orbit. So I talked to Pastor Lorenzo Sewell.
Yeah, so anyone that wants to come to church, they're able to come. So when President Trump called, I thought about it like you calling me and say, hey, Pastor, I want to invite a friend to church who has 34 felonies. Hey, Pastor, I want to invite a friend to church who is a womanizer. Hey, Pastor, I want to invite a friend to church who could be a racist.
He's the lead pastor at a black church in Detroit that Trump visited earlier this year. And he was also a featured speaker at the RNC.
To all my friends back in Detroit who are Democrats, I want to ask you just one simple question. You can't deny the power of God on this man's life. You can't deny that God protected him. Could it be that Jesus Christ preserved him for such a time as this? Could it be?
Why should Black people support the Republican ticket and Donald Trump specifically?
That's a good question. You know, what I would say to any Black person is this, specifically about the Republican platform. I would say, look, do your research, right? I would say, look back to 170 years ago in this state where a group of patriots stood up and they started that grand old party to stop the expansion of slavery. If a Black person said, well, Pastor, Donald Trump is racist, the Republican Party is racist, well, let's play that theme out throughout history. Let's look at who was the party of slavery, who was the party of Jim Crow, right? Who's the party of the slave codes? Well, those are Democrats. Let's have that conversation. And when you look at when the Senate was integrated, those were Black Republicans. When we look at Frederick Douglass, Black Republican. So that's on the political side, why I believe that a Black American should be willing to look at the Republican platform. In terms of my political convictions as a pastor, my conviction in my heart. A Black woman's womb is the most dangerous place for a Black child to be. So if a Black American, specifically a Black woman, my conversation would be, give our Black babies a chance. Look at the Republican Party in terms of President Donald J. Trump. This is what I would say. Don't look at the container, look at the content, right? Don't look at the man, look at the mission, right? Don't look at his past. Look at what your agenda is for your community in the future.
Conservatives are leading the charge to remove protections for voting rights, protections for maternal mortality, interventions in California, affirmative action, diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are all issues that pertain directly to the people that I know that you serve in your community. Why should they support the party behind the hindrance, the advancement of the very things that I know you stand for?
Sure. Black people that I know, that I represent, that I've had these conversations with, they don't want to be put in a position because they're Black. There's not one Black person I know that will say to me, Lorenzo, I deserve this position because I'm Black.
But I want to, you know that that's not what DEI is. DEI is about fair hiring practices, opening up opportunity, like creating pathways.
But you're smart. You're an intelligent man. And those that would say this, I believe they're very intelligent. It costs more money not to hire the person who's the best than to be racist. It actually costs more money. So if you're the best at what you do, right? And let's just say I'm a racist. So let's just say that, let's play that out, right? And let's just say, hey, there are 20 white guys that are not as competent as you, but I'm not gonna pick you
really fast
because you're Black. It's gonna cost me more money.
They don't even know that this qualified person exists, right?
Sure, I hear you.
The pathways are the problem. And a lot of what diversity, equity, and inclusion is doing is creating those and helping to clarify those pathways. And so framing it as an unqualified person getting the job when we know, you and I both know, that there are plenty of qualified Black people or Latino people or women who don't end up with jobs.
100%. And I agree with you. I do think relationships and proximity matter.
In his book, The Grift, Clay Cane details the history of how Black conservatives have thrown Black people under the bus to get ahead personally. From Black Republicans like Isaiah Montgomery and Booker T. Washington to modern Black Republicans like Clarence Thomas, Clay Cane makes the case that the modern Black Republican is likely, if not assuredly, a grifter, a person who is doing that which is politically expedient rather than doing what is right, doing whatever they need to do to get that all expenses paid trip to fancy places. I couldn't help but wonder if some of the folks I was talking to fit that description. So I asked Pastor Lorenzo whether or not he was a grifter.
In my reporting, I've spoken to Clay Cane, who wrote a book about grifters, how sometimes Black Republicans will align themselves with political power for their own personal advantage.
Sure.
What do you say to a person who says, hey, like, you're a talented, gifted person, but we didn't necessarily know who you were, but now you're speaking on one of the biggest platforms in the world tonight?
Quite frankly, I don't need another opportunity to speak. Has the Republican Party said, Lorenzo, we're going to write you a big check? No. If they did, it's just gonna go right to the community anyway, right at the end of the day, because that's where my salary goes.
You've mentioned Frederick Douglass and others from the 1800s, early 1900s. In those times, Black Republicans were elected by Black people.
Sure.
Today, Black Republicans, they're elected in majority white districts.
Agreed.
Why is it difficult, maybe even some would say impossible for a Black Republican to be elected in a Black
That's a good question. You know what? I'll wrestle with that. I think the biggest problem is the Republican Party, in my opinion, they have, I believe, drifted from their roots in terms of Black people having authority within that party. I don't believe the Republican Party has learned well how to support financially those who are Black Republicans that want to come out the closet. I equate it to being gay back in the 50s or 60s, right? Or even 70s. You didn't come out the closet then, like the movie Philadelphia, right? Because you could be ostracized. So it is with being a Black conservative. We have been, the Lord has blessed our church. He's been very kind to us to really serve our community. However, me just having President Trump at our church, if I could play the voicemail, sir, these are the ones I haven't had time to delete. If I could send you the emails where it's like, really? I mean, people that I thought loved me, they're like calling me everything but a child of God. I'm like, hold on for a second. Can we have a conversation? Why are you like, not?
How has that made you feel?
You know, I was a drug dealer. I was a street pharmacist, right? Former. So people that you love hurts. I have to be frank with you, you know. But other people that don't know you, don't understand your motives, I get it. When tensions are high, motives are questions. And tensions have been high in our country as it pertains to politics. So people question my motives. I understand that. But for the people that love you, it hurts. It really does. And that's the reason why Black people won't come out the closet.
A relatively small percentage of Black people will vote for Trump this November. But I have a take and I want to share it with you. A more inclusive and racially diverse Republican Party could be a good thing. American conservatives and Republicans have made the lives of Black people difficult on purpose. From the Southern strategy to welfare queens to anti-woke, anti-DEI stuff today, American conservatives have galvanized their white base by making the lives of Black people harder. It could be a good thing to see more Black Republicans if it means that the Republican Party is becoming actively hostile to the racists who have called that party their home for the last 60 years at least. Make American politics inhospitable to racists. I'm all in on that platform. But the reality is that racists, or at least racism enablers, were present and accounted for at the RNC. They were given stage time, had exclusive access, and seemed central to the whole operation. And I'll tell you what did not feel central. Black people. I actually attended the Black delegate event during the RNC, and something really interesting happened. The event was taking place away from the main convention center. And in the middle of it, unexpectedly, former President Donald Trump's motorcade could be heard approaching the event from a distance. People have been having a great time before that moment, but you should have seen the excitement on people's faces when they realized it was Trump approaching their event. It really felt like this big moment of acknowledgement, the perfect punctuation in a banner year for Black Republicans. Journalists and news crews were scrambling to get into position to make sure they captured that moment when he comes to this event. But then his motorcade just drove by. It turned out he wasn't coming to the event. It wasn't on his schedule. It just happened to be along his route.
He waved at us.
The disappointment for this group of Black Republicans was tangible and kind of poetic. And I think that's my big concern with the future of the Republican Party. The RNC had quite a few drive-by acknowledgments that Black people exist, but little to no substantive action plans for how they would show up and be present with and for this community. And if I'm honest with you, I think that's on purpose. The only way the Republican Party becomes this ideologically conservative but racially inclusive big tent party is if there is a fundamental rejection of the people and policy and practice they currently hold as sacred, near and dear to their political vision. As long as the GOP makes racial justice a political issue worth fighting against, a majority of Black people will never vote for the party. As long as teaching Black history is woke, as long as race-conscious solutions to race-conscious problems are demonized, as long as they commit to denying racism's impact on society, Black people, by and large, are not going to vote for them. But
shit's crazy. I would say this was
The moment
money leaves.
and
All gonna be
she said yes, and I took the ring out of the box. My heart was.
I can't say what was there, who was there. I can only tell you about ours. We have the biggest crowds ever in the history of politics.
The largest crowd of the campaign showed up in Detroit, Michigan. You know, it's not as if anybody cares about crowd sizes or anything.
Trump is bothered by the size of Kamala Harris's crowds because it's a language that he actually understands, a sign of enthusiasm more visceral and immediate than fundraising or polls. Today, a Democratic strategist going even further, saying he sees the stirrings of a, quote, movement, telling Politico, quote, Harris could be at a point where she's ahead of a movement, which is bigger than a candidate. And that's pretty much unstoppable. A movement, meaning something bigger than daily politics. And indeed, the energy at Harris rallies and the sheer size of the crowds at times appears to rival the kind of energy at music concerts or football games, events that transcend politics.
If you've got something to say, I know Donald Trump's type. We say, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yes, we're ready. We're ready. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back.
It's that football game style energy that's unnerving Trump. And the Harris campaign knows it. Harris herself highlighting running mate Tim Walz's background as a high school football coach.
To his former high school football players, he was coach. For some folks, they're just getting to know Coach Walz's story. Coach Walz taught social studies. Students voted Coach Walz the, quote, most inspiring faculty member. The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong. It was Coach Walz's students who actually helped him decide to run for office. Coach Walz and I may hail from different corners of our great country, but our values are the same. Under those Friday night lights, Coach Walz motivated his players to believe they could achieve anything.
The New York Times surfacing this video showing Walz coaching in the 1999 Minnesota State Championship game, which they went on to win. The best-selling author of Friday Night Lights, which went on to become a hit movie and a TV show, is now writing about Walz in the 2024 campaign, arguing that in many towns in America, a high school football coach is charged with, quote, pushing kids to realize their potential. He can be responsible for the town and how the town feels about itself, bringing pride and excitement to a place that sometimes has little of either. He explicitly compares Walz with the fictional high school coach in Friday Night Lights, Eric Taylor, known for his stand-up character and inspiring halftime speeches.
I expect you boys to go out there and not take this team lightly, because I promise you, they're going to come at you with everything they've got. I expect you boys to execute. Yes, sir. Expect you boys to play football.
Yes, sir.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
In real life, Walls' former players have recently spoken out, quote, "You knew Coach Walls had confidence in you," and quote, "He never belittled people, never lost his cool," and quote, "He brought us together." The inspirational halftime speeches in the show also doubled as life lessons about how to fight bullies, how to stage a comeback, and how to work together and be a part of a team. On the campaign trail, Walls is invoking some of that as well.
I talk about it being halftime in America. We're a touchdown down, and I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walls right now.
You build culture. You build.
This battle is not over.
Presidential nominee Harris said the words Friday Night Lights. I mean, that kind of pricked up my ears because I did write the book and was the originator of the phrase. And as you pointed out in the previous segment, I kept hearing Coach Waltz, Coach Waltz, Coach Waltz.
I don't really think it's as big of a deal.
At Sploot,
As far as campaigns, neither here nor there, really.
dental and emergency care, all
I
under
don't think
one
it's
roof.
the angle, the
Cut.
camera,
At
the way it looks.
Sploot, we've got
Who cares?
everything
At
your
the end of the
pet needs,
day,
from primary to
we're a
urgent,
policy
dental and
watch.
emergency care, all under one
I
roof.
believe there's policy there.
Okay, still rolling.
We
We got
kind of all
this.
over the
At
news.
Sploot, we've got everything your pet needs, from primary to urgent, dental and emergency care, all under one roof. Never mind.
Look into it.
Sploot Veterinary Care. Book right now. Of course.
Just for podcasting or normal podcast diet. That didn't happen.
We have to stay vigilant.
They trapped us in. White supremacist Nick Fuentes, once Trump ally, now wages war on Donald Trump. Here it is.
Depending on how things go in the coming weeks, we will begin deploying on the ground in the state of Michigan. That's where it will start. I'm headquartered in Chicago. If things don't get better, we will put boots on the ground in the state of Michigan. We will engage in other guerrilla political tactics in Michigan, which I will not disclose at this time. Michigan is a must-win, extremely competitive state with a very large Muslim population, which is deeply interested in the current policy regarding Iran, Israel, and Palestine. Our next step in escalation will be to take the Groyper War in person with boots on the ground and other assets in the state of Michigan. If things don't improve after that, we will escalate the Groyper War into every swing state in the country, including Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. And we will persist in all of these actions, digital, email, other traditional and non-traditional tactics in every swing state until the election, which includes telling people to sit this one out and refrain from voting unless or until we see a real change in policy regarding immigration, foreign war, and a change in posture towards the loyal and disloyal personnel that operate inside the Trump movement.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. All right, put it up full mass. There's more, okay? Put it up full mass. So Fuentes was outraged by Trump's decision to tap Senator J.D. Vance as his vice presidential running mate because Vance's wife is Indian and Hindu. Okay, this is what happens when your friends are racist bigots, okay? So he's upset that Trump picked a white guy who has a wife that's not white, complaining that Vance is someone who clearly, quote, does not value his racial identity, end quote, since he was willing to marry somebody, quote, that far outside your race who isn't even a Christian, end quote, okay? Fuentes is going to be really surprised when he finds out what color Jesus is. Following the completion of the Republican National Convention last month, Fuentes was fed up, declaring that he would not vote for Trump and that, quote, you could not bribe me to care about the election. But all of that changed last week when Fuentes reversed course and decided that instead of sitting out this election, he was going to actively work to undermine the Trump campaign in retaliation to allegedly abandoning the issues that Fuentes cares about. For what it is worth, Fuentes has a history of impulsively announcing ambitious campaigns that never materialize. So whether he actually has the capacity, resources, and motivation to follow through on these threats remains to be seen. But here's the thing. He got a dinner with Trump. Remember? He got a dinner with Trump. So what's really happening here? He has a dinner with Trump in the early stages of Trump's re-election campaign. He gets invited, they roll out the red carpet for an absolute racist, proud racist, white supremacist, holds white supremacist rallies, conferences. And they had a discussion. What do you think they're discussing? They're discussing white supremacy. And that's what they're discussing. They're discussing white supremacy. And when Donald Trump chooses a vice presidential running mate who has a Indian wife, well, wait a minute. That's not part of the plan, Trump. That's not what we discussed at dinner. We discussed white supremacy, white power. What happened to that, Trump? What happened to all of the white power policies we were going to bring to the Republican Party? And you know good and damn well Trump agreed with everything this man said, because that's how Trump rolls. That's how he does. As long as you're in the room with him and you have something that he wants, like, I don't know, bigots who are willing to vote for him, and you act as if you can deliver these bigots, he will be a bigot. If you're going to deliver racists, he will be racist. But all of a sudden, Fuentes is now actively against Trump because Trump is not racist enough. Sharon, thoughts?
Well, here's what I'll say. Fuentes is the only consistent person here. And yes, he's a raging, disgusting bigot. He's a racist, but he's following the plan, guys.
Yeah.
So he's got to undermine Trump and his running mate, who has chosen to be in an interracial marriage and produce mixed race kids. Okay, if you're a white supremacist, and that's what the Republican Party has based its platform on, then it is what it is. And I'll say this, stand it, Doc, I usually stay out of people's marriages, but at a certain point as a mother, you respect yourself and your children and who and what they are. I don't know what you're doing, Usha. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, brother, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm doing this for a little bit. Thank you for watching the Revolutionary Agenda. Presume that for what our sister Bianca just said, we'll probably be going live tomorrow. Jesse wants to use just you and Jessica chat or whatever. I think they did chat about business as usual. So, I understand what's happening. So, no need to carry out the punishment. Move forward with the show. So, I believe that's where I stand on it. They're shut down right now. So I have some things I need to take care of in the early morning. So, thanks for coming to the Revolutionary Agenda, to watching. Sorry that that personally I'm personally something tragic happened. It's like made a mockery out of, but I moved past it already. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm kind of over it or what happened. All you do really is move forward. So I move forward, and with it, meaning that we have work to do, and we don't have time to get bogged down. To believe if the love for both people are there, then everybody should be supportive of everybody. It's not just one person. It's just gets all the support because it's him. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch going on. So I'm gonna do my best to keep it classy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And I hope you learned something. Stay black, stay dangerous, and look out for tomorrow's show, Frontline Black News, where we talk about tangibles, and hopefully it's a good show going on, so that we have lots of topics. Let's hope. Go ahead. Thank you.